So have you ever thought, I just want to write a quick ebook and sell it on Amazon? I get it. Writing an ebook and distributing it online seems like it's really easy. You're thinking there's less work involved, ebooks are instant, convenient, they take up less space, and they're cheaper. But if you think that you can reach the same potential for expanded visibility and reach by releasing just an ebook by itself, you're doing yourself and your business a huge disservice. Because the fact is that print books and ebooks do completely different jobs. So what are those jobs, and which ones do you need? Keep watching. So once upon a time, hardcovers were the only books that you could buy. Then paperbacks came along, and they were lighter, and they were cheaper, and they were easy to get. And people shouted to the rooftops, hardcovers are dead! Oh my gosh, paperbacks are ruining the world! Does that sound familiar? Today, ebooks are lighter and cheaper and easier to download and easier to consume, and people are still shouting to the rooftops that print books are dead. But guess what? Neither one of those things happened. Ebooks have not destroyed the value of print books. In fact, print books have something that ebooks don't. They have a higher perceived value. For the same reason that you think it's easier to write and publish an ebook makes it less valuable in the eyes of the reader, because the reader knows it's easier, right? They know how much easier it is to write, or at least they think they know how much easier it is to write and publish an ebook. So for many people, you're not a real author unless you have a print book, one that they can hold in their hands. You want to give people options. You want them to be able to see that you're a real author. You want them to be able to read your print book, hold it in their hands, pass it along, and you want to be able to pass it along. You want to be able to give it to people. But people are also going to be interested in having an ebook simply because they can download it, they can read it easier if they prefer Kindle or they prefer Nook or whatever it is that they read their ebooks on. They want to have that convenience, but that doesn't mean that they don't also want a print book. Maybe they want both. Maybe they want an audiobook. Some people will buy 3 formats of the same exact book and consume all of them. People just like to have all 3 sometimes. It's like collecting them all. So here's the deal with that perceived value thing. You want to make sure that people understand that what your book has to say has real value. And the problem with only having it available on an ebook is that there's a lot of ebooks out there that have just been flooding the market right and left with poorly written, really crappy books. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever gone on Amazon and downloaded an ebook real quickly and you thought maybe it was going to be good even though it had a crappy cover and we were hoping that it would be good, and you got it down and you were just like, this doesn't say anything. It doesn't even look like it was written by anybody in English. So it's really easy for people to dismiss your book just because it's only available through an ebook format. So that having a print book is really, really important to raise your credibility, to make sure people understand that they should take your book seriously, not just take you seriously, but take what you have to say in your book seriously. And if you're going to spend the amount of time and energy that it takes, and sometimes money, to actually write this amazing book, then don't you think it deserves to be taken seriously? Don't you think it deserves, to be elevated to the status of real book and real author? Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have an ebook. There's absolutely great reasons to have an ebook. You want to have that convenient way for people to download your information. Some people will only read ebooks because they're traveling all the time and they don't want to weigh themselves down with physical books. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having an ebook, but I just know that there is this perception in the marketplace, especially with business books, that if the only version that's available is an ebook, that for some way it's less valuable. So you don't want that to happen to you. The other thing is that it only seems like it's harder to publish and write a print book. Yes, you need different design, you need different formatting, and you might need to do a few tweaks on the actual writing, but a publishing team can help you produce a professional looking print book and ebook, and that way you have the bonus value. You have the perceived value of having a great book that's in printed format, and you have the ebook that actually gives people what they want in terms of being lighter and cheaper and easier to consume. You might think that it's more difficult to write a print book. You might think that it's got to be longer and that it's going to be harder and it's going to take forever. But why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you writing your book? You're doing it so that you can change lives. You're doing it so you can attract clients and customers. And the little bit of work that it takes on the front end to actually create a book that looks great in print and works on an ebook format, that little bit of extra effort is really going to pay off in the long run, because you're going to be able to use that book in your marketing strategies for decades to come, rather than having to put out ebook after ebook after ebook and hoping that one of them will hit the market and that people will actually be excited about it. So get rid of that idea or that belief that it's going to be too hard for you to write a print book. It's just a different format. It's not like you're changing your content. It's not like you're doing a whole lot of extra work. You can do both, and it's not that much more difficult to have both available to your audience. So if you believe that you can release just a quickie ebook and get the results that you really want, can't really help you, because that's just not true. But if you want to join the masses of profitable business authors who have expanded their reach and increased their visibility, I have the resources that you need. Click the link down below and access my free one-page book planner and online writing workshop and get started on your book, that book that will inspire, educate, and sell, that book that will attract clients and customers. Start writing it and make sure that you've got an amazing book that you can make available in both print and ebook formats.